All right, welcome everybody. It's Tuesday, which means it's the healthiest day of the week. Welcome and congrats on being here. It is, for most people, the last weekend of summer or getting close to. So, as you know, people are getting close to getting in routine and developing habits, or have been in and out of habits, or kind of just not on their routine. So this week we thought we'd talk about one of the most important things as we're getting healthy, which is building habits and routines, because I thought it was kind of a timely thing here, because most people, like I mentioned, if you're like me, are barely hanging on to those habits that you've instilled in your life. And luckily and hopefully you've instilled a lot of them. And I have a lot of people that are going to catch the recording here tonight, so I'm excited to record this one. So we're going to talk about that today for our short topic of health. So one of the cool things about our program is we focus on a Be Slim approach to a lifestyle. And it's really important because what we're doing is we're practicing the habits and the fundamental choices that make health long-term easy. 85% of Americans that even are successful in losing weight, and we're so much more than just losing weight, but even in that stat that we do very well, 85% of people that lose weight gain it back and then some within 2 years of any amount of weight that they lose, which is not a good stat. We all know kind of what the gym looks like at the beginning of the year. We know what it looks like come February 1st. So the point is people like to approach things hot and heavy, but then there's no sustainability. And that's one thing that we like to focus on in here. And what I like about our program is every way you check it, what you're doing is setting yourself up for long-term, whether you're in the weight loss phase of your program, whether you're enjoying summer, everything you're doing. And that's the big encouragement that I have to everyone. And I think a few weeks ago we talked about exercise, and that was my biggest tidbit is, one, just get your body moving, but more importantly, pick something that you can do long-term, not something you're going to do for a week and not continue doing. But one thing we teach to our program is this acronym right here, which is breakfast every single day. Exercise, and that we talked about, like I said, exercise a few weeks ago. Doesn't need to be like pounding it at the gym, just getting your body moving. Support. Congrats. Everyone here tonight is tapping into support. So I want to congratulate you. That is a habit of health long-term. Low fat, low glycemic meals, and perfect individual plan and monitoring, continuing to inspect what we expect and being a creative process towards what we desire. Because it's not just about losing weight. It's not just about, getting to a certain goal. It's what you're doing after the goal. And that's what we're talking about with building habits and routines. So if you guys have read Dr. Ray's ebook, he talks about habit loops and craving loops and building habits in here. And so like in this one, for instance, there could be multiple reasons why this happens, but let's say you see a candy bar, or maybe you get stressed and it makes you go to want to eat a candy bar because of a habit that you've instilled in your life. Maybe when you were stressed out in school, you would go get a candy bar or whatever, or however that habit came to be. The only way to truly create a new habit or to get rid of a bad habit is to create a new good habit. You can't just get rid of an old habit or else it's there. You got to create a new circle loop. So like in this one, you see a candy bar, your routine is to eat the candy bar, you have a reward, you have a sugary treat, so you have a craving loop that you create, however that's come up. So in current situation, if we're not being mindful of our health, like we might see a candy bar or crave a candy bar, and the loop habit just starts all over again. But now when we're building healthy habits in this, and how we approach everything in our day is, maybe we see that thing that used to trigger us to do an unhealthy habit, and now we change that into doing something that is good for our health, moving us towards what we want. Choices that help us maintain a healthy weight and body composition and feel good about our body. It's just about retraining the body and replacing it. So what I love about our program, whether you're in the weight loss stage or you're into your optimizing health phase, is that, if you feel bad, like if I kind of get, like out of my routine, my goal is to get back in. Like that's my cue to get back into a routine, not to do worse things. If I notice cravings in my life, because I know what it's like not to have cravings, I don't try to give into those cravings. I notice that that's a cue that I need to relook at my health. When we do our plan right now, we focus on breakfast every single day. Such an important habit of health. So we're building on that foundation and that routine, stable long-term. Water each day. Guys, we had water as our tip last week. Dan gave us some great tips. Drinking water every day. A lot of people, you guys gave your tip of how you have water jugs with you at all times. Like right now I have an infuser in my water, but I keep this right here next to me. And when it's low, it's like a reminder to fill it. So I'm good at drinking my water long-term. Eating every 2.5 hours. That's a routine that we're going to do forever. So what's cool about our plan is every day you're doing something that moves your health forward, but I'd like to encourage you this week with every single thing you do, and maybe that next meal or that next healthy choice. I want you to think, yes, I'm making this healthy choice now, but how am I putting that into my life long-term? That's really what it comes down to. And like right now, you guys are on this call. I want you guys to never forget about community. I was in Montana this last week, and one gal who had kind of, fallen away from our community for a little bit, she was like, I'm so glad I came to this. I almost didn't come to this. I need to remember that when life throws me curveballs, I need to run towards this community, not away from it. So these are just all the different habits that we have here. Everything that we do, weighing out your lean and green, shopping ahead of time, Sunday prep time, anything that you do is just, it's a routine for long term. And how are you getting into it? Like, for instance, I love traveling, so I travel a lot. Every time I come back from a trip, my routine is to get right back home and get right into the routine, not catch myself a week later and be like, oh man, I need to get back. There was something I normally do. But because of practicing one little victory at a time, you can build it and it can become second nature to you. So that's kind of my tip for you guys this week, is everything you do today, tomorrow, the next day, be focused on your next goal. That's always the best way to be moving forward, is what is the next thing you want to accomplish? Is it tangible? Are you working towards it? But then every step along that way, ask yourself, how am I implementing these steps that I'm doing to help me create success? How am I making sure that I build that so it's long term? It's like you can picture it basically climbing a mountain. When you take that step, are you carving out that step in rock so that you have a strong foundation that you're never taking a step down past that step? So short term versus long term. So we are doing short-term things every single day that help us with our health. We want to make sure that they're becoming long-term habits as well. So that's really my tip today. And I like this one just because it's one that we used last week, is if you keep good food in your fridge, you'll eat good foods. If you keep good company, you will be in good company and make healthy choices. If you set yourself up for success, you never have to worry about failing. So Dan, I'm going to actually have you come off and add a few things. I know this is something you're very passionate as well, is sustainability in your health. We talk about it all the time. So do you have any tips you want to add to that as we kind of wrap up this week's call?
I love it. I love what you said. And just to piggyback on that, I love how Dr. A says that health is a lot like freedom, right? We don't think much about it sometimes until it's taken away from us. And he encourages us that it's those small daily actions that over time, consistency, can do amazing things for our health and our life. And so I loved, I had those craving loops and habit loops up. I love the science behind that, and the beauty of how our brains work when we're creating those habits and that consistency, because the habits just repeated action over and over and over again. And so if I could take your challenge or your tip to the next level, and Dr. A challenged us this recently, and so I'll extend it to everybody who's listening, everybody who's here live, is pick one thing out of your schedule or your life that maybe is not the healthiest, or it's not moving you towards your goal, and pick that one thing and cut it out and replace it with something that is going to move you towards your goal. It could be coming home from work and sitting down and watching the couch. Maybe you cut that out and you replace it with go for a walk around the neighborhood, or something else, or spend time with the family, whatever it is. So just pick one habit or one action or one thing in your schedule or your day or your life to cut out that is maybe holding you back, and then replace it with something that's good. And Dr. A encouraged us that, the thing about creating habits is that it's consistency, staying with that, something that you can do and something that you feel comfortable doing. Don't go crazy or stretch yourself too much, but pick something that you feel good about and do it consistently every day. And if you miss a day, just make sure you do it the next day. Just don't miss 2 days in a row, because that's the thing about creating a habit. And you're right, that consistency in doing it, you feel good because you're accomplishing something. You feel better, and it puts you in a momentum towards really long-term success. And you get one little thing down, then I accomplished that. I can do another big thing, right? I can do another little thing or another little thing, till you all of a sudden you realize, whoa, I'm living a completely different lifestyle than I did maybe a year or not even a full year ago. It's a really exciting thing. So that's my challenge on top of Brad, because you always come with such a good challenge and a good tip. And so that would be my tip this week, especially as we're coming into our health games. And I had to put a plug into that, because our health games starting first week in September. It's a beautiful time to make that kind of just refresh. For me, it's been great to just kind of, okay, let's focus on really what's most important, and let's pick that and let's move forward with that and have a support and have that community to do it. So there's a plug for our health games. If you don't know what that is, or you're looking into that, ask your health coach, and we'll point you in the right direction. So that's all I had, Brad, to add on to what you said.
No, it's great tips. I love that you said choose one thing this week that will help you move forward. I'm going to encourage someone, like anyone who wants to come off the line and just say like some things that have helped them as we wrap up today, like different things that you have had victories in your health. So to prep yourself, I'd love to someone jump on here in a second as we wrap up. But what are some of the things, or habits or routine that you're going to practice this week to implement success long term? Like, Dan, that was your challenge. Pick something this week. And I love how you said it, because that's exactly how Dr. A has encouraged us. So I'll give some people some time to come off real quick and share something that they want to share on this. But I just had a big victory last night because, we talk about a habit loop. I was not given a lot of sweets as a kid. So anytime you get a chance to have a sweets in the Miller household, it was like, give me them. And, you'll hear my dad talk about it sometimes. We had chocolate fudge sticks sometimes around, and you didn't bring them into the house because they'd be gone, like before we unpacked the groceries as a family. So that's what I've been programmed. Like when I have the opportunity to bring stuff back, I've done it in the past. And I am not healthy because I have amazing, willpower. Willpower is not even really a thing. It's only a test of time until you're going to fail at that. So like I used to always want to bring home anything that you're at a gathering you can bring home. Great. So we were at a birthday party for a friend. There was tons of cake left afterwards. I didn't have any of it, but they were like, do you want to take it home? We want someone to take it home. And I was like, no, I'm not taking that home because I don't bring stuff like that into my house anymore. In the past, it would have been like, heck yeah, bring it in. And it's like, I'll be able to take on, that'll be fine. I'll limit it, but why put yourself in that situation? So I recognized the habit loop, changed it. And now I have a new habit when it comes to that thing. It's to say, no, I don't want that. And to make sure I stock my house with healthy things. So that was a little victory I had because it's cool, because years ago it would have been the opposite. So who else wants to share something that's been big for them that they've replaced one of their habit loops? Don't all jump in at once. Who's going to do it? Is it going to be Brandon? Is it going to be Daylin? Is it going to be Debbie? Shar? Cindy? I'm just going to call
Elizabeth
you out.
Unmuted.
All right, there you go. Go for it.
It's not food. It is exercise. I kind of got out of my habit of getting out and getting exercising. And I've been trying to get into better habits of work. So, jump in and start work first thing. But doing it at home, sometimes I get waylaid by a few other things that keep creeping in. So I'm making a habit of first thing out, I put my work on clothes on, and I'm out the door. I've got to go and get my 3 miles in before I come back and get my day started. And then I've also moved myself back out to the office, away from the house. So I've got that habit of jumping right into work after my walk.
I love it. New habit. Wake up, put on workout clothes, work out. Before you know it, it's going to be weird if you don't. And that's great to have it. I love that.
I'm hoping.
Hey, well, you know what? Every single day we're getting better. Let's take it. I know someone else has a habit they've replaced. So let's take it home with one last takeaway. Who's going to do it?
Hey, Brad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, one of the habits, just as we got on vacation, we actually packed our 5-in-1 plan, and we made an attempt to change something that we knew that occur is going out and being with friends and having choices to make. So we brought our food with us so that we could actually make the choice.
I love it. So you prepared ahead of time to combat a habit that would have taken place normally. You're traveling. Yep. So even someone that's not even in a routine very normally. So now you have a routine of what you do when you travel. I love it. I've done that change too. So great tip and congrats. I'm sure it felt good to have that victory.
It did. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, this concludes our weekly tip. Hopefully you guys got it. Dan, thank you so much for the great tips. I love that we covered exercise tip and a healthy prep tip. So with that being said, this recording will be up because I know a few people wanted to make sure that they caught the recording of this. Go have a healthy week. Great job being plugged in the community. That is a habit of health long term. And if you like what you're doing, share it with somebody else. So that being said, guys, will have a great week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, Brad.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dan.